everyone, welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to teach you to make another vegetarian dish known as Kounoupidi Kapama. It's also known as Kounoupidi Yakhni or Kounoupidi Kokinisto. What is she saying? What you may ask if you don't speak Greek. I'm going to teach you basically how to make braised cauliflower. It's cauliflower that's going to be cooked in a nice aromatic tomato sauce. And it's perfect to serve as a main entree if you want to go vegetarian a few times a week. Just soak it up with serve it with a nice salad and some toasted bread to soak up that luscious sauce, or serve it as a side to any entree. Maybe you could even eat it with a poached egg on top. Tastes good either way. Let's go over the ingredients. They're so simple and so few, and then we're going to get started. We're going to be using some olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of water. Feta cheese is optional. It's for serving. And then we have some canned tomatoes. You could use crushed or any tomatoes pureed. Some garlic cloves, a cinnamon stick, crushed red pepper flakes, some chopped red onion, and a whole cauliflower. Okay, so we are going to begin by cutting our cauliflower into florets. Very easy to do. You can, I think in some supermarkets they're already sold as florets. It's up to you if you want to get those. I feel like you save a lot of money and it doesn't take too much time to do it yourself. Cut the stem off. You could add the stem in. Personally, I like it, so I'm going to put it in. But if you don't like it, you can leave it out and save it for stews or soups or stocks, whatever you like. I'm going to put it in because I do enjoy it. And then we're just going to cut. You could do it by hand, actually, just very nicely. Just pull the florets apart. If you want to do it with a knife, that's fine too. If you get a big one like this, just go ahead and cut it in half. You want them to be uniform in size. I'm not going to waste these little crumbles of cauliflower. I'm going to add these in later on. You want to have a nice big pan or pot heating up over high heat with some olive oil, because we're going to first caramelize these just a few minutes, about 10 minutes, until they're really nice and golden, and you want to make sure that the oil is really hot before you throw them in there. If your pan, whatever pan you're using or pot, is too small, you could do this in 2 batches. So we're going to put the cauliflower in the oil. The oil is nice and hot. And they fit. I'm going to leave these stems out and I'm going to put them in later on with the stew. But after about 5 to 10 minutes, when they're nice and golden, we're going to take them out onto a plate. So after 5 minutes, just go in and give them a stir. And then they don't have to be golden all around, but as long as they're golden on at least some of the sides, it's good enough. You don't want to cook, you don't want to begin to cook these too much. We're going to take them out and put them in our bowl with the rest of the pieces of cauliflower, the little leaves and the little crumbles. Put them all together. We'll leave them in here. Okay, now to this oil, I'm going to add my chopped onions. Now I have red onions here because they're nice and sweet, and cauliflower and sweet vegetables go so lovely together. I'm going to cook these until they're nice and soft. I'm actually going to season these with a little bit of salt. If you cannot find red onions, or if you have regular yellow or white onions laying around, just go ahead and use those. It's not a big deal. We're going to cook these for about 10 minutes until they're nice and soft. So now we're just going to grate our garlic cloves. You could do 2 to 3. I'm doing 3 because these are on the smaller side. And our onion should be soft by now. It's been about 8 minutes. I'm going to add the garlic in there, and I'm just going to warm it through. So I'm just going to stir it into the soft, beautiful onion, and it should be good. You don't want to overcook it because it can burn. Now we're going to add our cinnamon stick in. And I have a can of crushed tomatoes, so I didn't even have to puree them this time. I'm also going to rinse out the can with the water, because I'm going to put a little bit of water in this dish so we can have a nice sauce. I'm going to season with some crushed red pepper flakes because you know I love that heat. And now we're going to put our cauliflower in here, nice and caramelized. Season with some salt. Lots and lots of freshly ground black pepper. We're going to increase the heat to high. We're going to bring this to a boil. Then we're going to cover it, reduce the heat to low, and we're going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes or until the sauce thickens and the cauliflower is nice and tender. So at the last 5-6 minutes of cooking, just remove the lid and then increase the heat to high so that way you can cook everything down, and that way it just the sauce remains. There's no water left. This is how I like it. You don't want to cook it until it's too mushy. You know, inevitably some of the cauliflower that's cut into smaller pieces will cook down a bit like that, and you'll have some little mashed up pieces and some whole pieces. But this is the way I like it. I like to have a nice combination of both. This is ready and it's time to serve it. So I didn't mention that you should go in and taste the seasoning, but you should do that in every dish right before you serve it. Go in and taste it, and if it needs a little bit of more salt or pepper, go ahead and add it in before you serve it, of course. Now, I did take out the cinnamon stick, and I put some in my plate, and the way I like to serve it, I like to just take a little bit of fresh parsley. You can chop it or not, whatever you like, and then I just like to put it on top, just like that for some freshness. And then, of course, some crumbled, delicious, creamy Greek feta cheese. Now, if you leave me alone with this pot, I can probably eat half the pot in one sitting. I love cooked vegetables, especially when they're cooked in this tomato sauce, especially when they're cauliflower. It's one of my favorite vegetables to eat. Like I said, serve it as a side, serve it as a main. Go ahead and toast up some nice bread. Time to go in and give this a taste. So much flavor. The feta cheese just makes it, just adds that extra little kick of saltiness while it's really nice and creamy. You can definitely leave the feta cheese out if you're serving it to people who like vegan food, or if you yourself want to go vegan for a day or so. It's delicious, loaded with flavor, loaded with nutrition. The recipe, as always, is on the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. It's also underneath the video in the description box down below. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and if you serve this, if you're going to serve this as a main or as an entree, I really want to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all next time. Yes, us.